महता का उल्टा चश्मा के एपिसोड 3944 में हम देखते हैं कि किस तरह सुंदर और उसके दोस्त गाड़ी से एक एक करके निकलते हैं और फिर हम देखते हैं जेठालाल को दया के लिए गाड़ी का दरवाज़ा खोलते हुए और हम देखते हैं कि गाड़ी में से दया निकलती है और गाड़ी के पास आकर खड़े हो जाती है और वहाँ से ही सारे गोकुलधाम वासियों को मिलती है। और जैसे ही दया गाड़ी से निकलती है तो सारे गोकुलधाम वासी दया को देखकर हैरान हो जाते हैं और बहुत खुश होते हैं जब वो देखते हैं कि उनकी प्यारी दया वापस आ गई है। और जैसा कि मेहता साहब को लग रहा था कि दया इस बार भी नहीं आएगी, क्योंकि सुंदर ने पिछली बार भी काफ़ी दफ़ा दया को लाने के वादे किए थे और उन वादों पर पूरा नहीं उतरा, लेकिन इस बार हम देखते हैं कि सुंदर ने अपना वादा पूरी तरह निभाया है और दया को वापस गोकुलधाम सोसाइटी में लेकर आया है। और हम देखते हैं कि दया एक एक करके हर एक गोकुलधाम वासी से मिलती है और सबसे ज़्यादा खुशी दया के आने की जेठालाल को होती है, क्योंकि हम देखते हैं कि जेठालाल पहले हैरान होता है दया को देखकर और फिर जेठालाल की आंखों में आंसू आ जाते हैं, क्योंकि उसने खुद दया को इतने सालों बाद अपनी आंखों से देखा है। और हम देखते हैं कि ये खुशी पूरे एपिसोड में बरकरार रहेगी जब दया आएगी और अपने हाथों से जेठालाल के घर में दिया जलाएगी और इसका शुक्रिया अदा जेठालाल करेगा सुंदर को, क्योंकि सुंदर ही था जिसने अपने वादे को पूरा किया और दया को वापस गोकुलधाम सोसाइटी लेकर आया। तो हम देखेंगे कि अब आने वाले एपिसोड्स में दया वापस आएगी और हम देखेंगे कि दया के आने के बाद काफ़ी ज़्यादा स्टोरी हमारी चेंज हो जाएगी, क्योंकि वो सारे एपिसोड्स जिनमें दया नहीं थी वो काफ़ी सूने सूने लगते थे, लेकिन अब दया के आने के बाद वो सारी खुशियाँ वापस आ गई हैं। और हम देखेंगे कि इस दिवाली के साथ अब नई खुशियाँ गोकुलधाम सोसाइटी और तारक मेहता का उल्टा चश्मा के एपिसोड्स में वापस आ गई हैं। अगर आप सबसे पहले तारक मेहता का उल्टा चश्मा के एपिसोड्स देखना चाहते हैं तो मैजिक वर्ल्ड को सब्सक्राइब कर दें और इस वीडियो को लाइक कर दें ताकि अगले तारक मेहता का उल्टा चश्मा के फुल एपिसोड्स आपके पास सबसे जल्दी आएँ। तो इस एपिसोड को शुरू करते हैं। Today's episode is all about the date that, of course, today's episode is dated on 2nd of December 2023, and in this very episode we are going to talk about the major events that are happening as of now in our favorite episodes, because of course everyone is really excited about these episodes and we are, as much as anyone, would also be excited about this, because this is the whole of Tarak Mehta Ka Ulta Chashma and Barsaatein, and we are more than delighted to see that our favorite characters are finally back in our favorite show. Now, of course, without getting further into delay, we must talk about our two episodes. And of course, the episode starts off with Tapu Sena in Jethalal's house. They are entering and really they are just making sure that the sweets and everything that is required for Diwali is in for it. And we see that is very much true here. And it's, well, the element, or we can say the feel of Diwali is really all over the place in Gokuldham society. And of course, one more thing that we did not like at all in this episode was them really just stretching out the whole episode and making it a filler and having two coming up next promos that are so identical to each other. It is really embarrassing for them to do that again. And of course, it's nothing new, but this should stop and they should really just have it as their own. So in our, you can say, parallel episode, we see that Rayanj starts to dance with Aradhna, and we see that Jay finally gets his lick back, and, or you can say, just controls the damage that Rayanj caused by stealing Aradhna from Rayanj and dancing with her. So of course it is definitely something that he did not see coming, but he should be prepared for it. And of course, in Tarak Mehta Ka Ulta Chashma episode 3943, we saw how this filler scene was just one way to really, you can say, have this way, or this, you can say, this sort of emptiness, or maybe a fillerness, or a crack that some might say, that is preventing all the fun. And of course, episode 3944 is the episode that will finally show us if Daya is really back, or if it is someone else. So of course, they couldn't just show this episode right before the weekend. So of course, today's episode will show us that Daya is finally back in Tarak Mehta Ka Ulta Chashma, and of course the off day for the official episodes will be tomorrow, but of course Magic World will always upload all the episodes on a daily basis. So we see that now the Kriti and Reyansh alliance is taking place, and Kriti reminds Reyansh that Jay is going to steal Aradhana away from Reyansh, and he won't be able to do anything. But we see that Reyansh definitely has a couple of ideas under his sleeves, or a couple of tricks under his sleeve, and that is why he is so arrogant, or he is just very, you can say, in a way he is very blunt, and he is very cocky, because he says that he has that final weapon, that you can say final move, that will make him win the final battle, which is the marriage. So we see that Aradhana is now remembering all the embarrassing moments that Reyansh gave her, and of course she must remember that, because she has been going through a lot of trouble lately, and the problem, or you can say the root of all that trouble, is caused by Reyansh and no one else. So of course she is grieving, and she should be, because this is her life, and she should have as much control as possible over it. So in Tarak Mehta Ka Ulta Chashma, we see that the trio that is also used as a filler is filling up the episode, because they have to stretch it to Sunday, or we can say to at least Saturday. And we see that this filler episode is just here. It's not even like you can say an understandable filler. It just feels so forced, because this whole forcing fillers in the shows is very tiring, and of course they really have to cope with it, and more than them, we should be the ones who really have to cope with all the trouble that is caused by the people that are running this show as of now. So of course everyone is really happy, waiting for Daya to return, and of course everyone should be happy, because this is the moment we have been all waiting for, and it is finally coming true after such a long time. And we see that every single character is acting as a filler in this for some reason, and we really can only cope and not say anything, because we are only one episode away, which is episode 3944 that everyone is watching as of now. So we are really excited to see and to show, most of all, that this is going to be the best episode, you can say the best episode run for the fans of Tarak Mehta Ka Ulta Chashma and Barsaatein, because a lot of good things are happening in both these shows. And the coming up next promo of episode 105 really shows us that Reyansh is going to be the final love of Aradhana. And of course we are going to discuss this later on, because we see that while Aradhana was walking for some air, outside her house in the balcony. We see Rianj flashing lights at her, and that caused her to really, you can say, not take a proper look at him. And we see Rianj finally coming up to Aradhna, and the reason he did it was something that had impact, or you can say that would have major impact later in the episode, which is, of course, as of now, Rianj is really manipulating Aradhna, or you can say he is emotional blackmailing her in a way, and that is really, you can say, messed up. But this is the show that has the highest online TRP, or you can say the second most highest TRP, that is of online shows. So of course the fans love it, so who are we to say that it's not good enough? Because we can only you can say critique in a way that is very constructive and might add some value of education to the showrunners, because we will always be here to theorize and analyze and predict what might happen in the future episodes of our two most favorite and famous shows of Indian television. So of course everyone is waiting, and by everyone we mean that it is us who are waiting for the episode, because we should be you can say waiting for our favorite episodes. And this is the reason why the TRP gets so high, is because the suspicion and the suspense of it all. So at the first try, Tapu says that Sundar Lal is not picking up the phone, and everyone is just now shocked in a way. And of course that is definitely something not good at all. And we see that two people who were not surprised at all were Mehta Saab, who is Tarak Mehta, and Bhide, and we see that both their wives really checked them and said that they should be, you can say, they should think positively and they should be optimistic and not pessimistic, and everyone is optimistic about their returning. And one more thing that we would really like to, you can say, talk about is that in this scene where Rianj and Aradhna are shaking their hands, or really having a handshake in a way, or really just joining their hands, we see that Rianj had you can say henna, or you can say a spot of henna, or just henna in his or on his hand, and he intentionally did that so that Aradhna would also have the same, you can say, spot of henna that Rianj has, so he would complete their ship, that is Aranj. So we see that it is going to cause trouble to Aradhna. So it is plain and simple that as long as Aradhna is not with Rianj, it will always be trouble for her. So the only way that Aradhna can really just, you can say, let go of the trouble is by marrying Rianj. So we will see how that will turn out later in the episode when we talk about our favorite show. And of course we see that Aradhna is struggling to remove that stain, and of course we will call it a stain because she did not want it at all, and Rianj forced that henna on her hand, and of course it is going to cause trouble in front of Aradhna's in-laws. So that is going to be really catastrophic. And we see that in Gokuldham society everyone is really happy. They said that Tapu finally had a second call, and Sundar said that they have entered Powder Gully, which is the street that is of Gokuldham society, and they, for some reason, they laid this whole, you can say, line of firecrackers that consist of 10,000 firecrackers, and they did that to welcome the car that Daya was coming in, but that is just hazardous and we have no idea how it was allowed and how the car wasn't damaged when it was right in front of it. So we thought that it would be a plot point or a plot, you can say, device, that those 10,000 firecrackers would act as a plot device, but it didn't, and we just see that the car was untouched by the firecrackers and the smoke of it all. So of course they pretended that it would cause some trouble, those 10,000 firecrackers, but that was just a side plot, or it wasn't even a side plot, it was nothing, it was just you can say decoration, and that really wasn't great at all. If it was the, you can say, previous episodes like episode 50 or 100 or even 500, those 10,000 firecrackers would play a very important role in this very scene, but it didn't, and we instead had all these forced filler scenes. And of course it would have been great to see those 10,000 firecrackers being an obstacle between Daya and Gokulam society. And of course, talking about obstacles, we see that Aradhana's in-laws have arrived, and of course we see that the dance and everyone singing and dancing and having fun just stops, but then again it continues. And of course we really like the color scheming of all the dresses. For some reason this one character is only wearing orange and really destroying all the color, you can say, schemes. And of course this gold and navy blue color contrast of some sort is really great. And for some reason we can clearly see Nita recognizing the smell of henna, even though Aradhana was really just, you can say, pushing it off. And of course it doesn't make any sense because this is the henna, which is also called Mehndi ceremony. And of course the smell of Mehndi would be very common in a house where the ceremony is taking place. Or how does she differentiate the smell when she was also bringing the mehndi, which is henna, of her own? So it doesn't make any sense. It just is baffling and mind-boggling to see her being so forcefully displayed or portrayed as a display. Well, actually as a villain, displayed as something that is very, you can say, cartoonish in a way. And of course we see that the firecrackers go off when Daya is entering in the society, and the car is. And of course we see that before Daya you can say comes out, her friends and family, which is Sundar and his friends, come out first as always. So if and only if they really just pull a you can say you thought card or something like that, that would really disappoint us, then that would be just devastating, because everyone is really excited about they are returning, the fans most of all. And if they really repeat that whole thing again of their not coming out of the car and everyone else coming out before her, then that's just unbelievable. So we see that right after Daya's car comes out, it starts circulating the society, which is a great way to say that maybe it is just doing the Garba dance, and then the whole society starts to dance, starts to do the Garba dance. And it was Anjali who you can say suggested that, so that's interesting. And of course we see that the whole trouble that we were talking about that would eventually come in Aradhana's way comes, and we see that Aradhana's mother-in-law or mother-in-law to be, or future mother-in-law, whatever you want to call her, we are just simply going to call her Nita, starts to interrogate Aradna's henna spot. And of course, we see that Jay saves the day once again, and Jay asks his mom to really replicate the two spots so that they will have matching spots, so that we see, well, both of them having the same matching spot that is supposed to be there, because they really love each other so much. Or at least Jay is a walking green flag that loves Aradna so much, to an extent that he would be willing to do anything for her. But of course, it is a very complex love story. It is definitely more complex than whatever some might say. And of course, we are always here to really differentiate what might, you can say, happen in their lives and everything that revolves around it. So of course, we see that, well, both of the episodes are having some really great scenes, and that one scene that they should really have wasn't even there. So we didn't see Aradna having Rayansh in her henna, and we also didn't see Daya coming out at all, or that is because of the whole filler scene. And of course, they started it at the very start of the episode, so it just felt really forced and it was unbearable to watch. So we really hope that in episode 3944 and episode 106 we finally see the things that we were promised in the coming up next promos, the sneak peek that people love to call it. And of course, we will always be here to be the first ones to provide the fans of both Tarak Mehta Ka Ooltah Chashma and Barsatein, both our favorite shows, both our famous shows, to be the first ones to watch these episodes without any further delay. And of course, we will always be here for the amount of entertainment that will be provided by us, and it will definitely be something that it would really shock everyone to their core, because this would be something that, to all the fans of Magic World that have been with us for a very long time. So with this, these were the episodes 3944 and episode 106 that was brought to you by Magic World before anyone else could. Subscribe our channel and watch these episodes brought to you by Magic World, the channel that brings you daily episodes before any other streaming services. Our goal is to provide entertainment to our viewers with freshly made episodes only for the true Magic World fans. Hit the bell icon so you never miss the opportunity to watch our episodes.